Well, the summer of 2021 is drawing to an end, but I thought maybe you'd like to see the way the garden is looking here in the third week of August after a tough summer. I'll start at the back here at bed number 4 with Virginia Creeper across the top of the fence. Another month that'll be bright red. And in the lower bed, Lady's Mantle. In the foreground, I just watered all the garden. And you can see how the water beads up on these French cape-like leaves on the Lady's Mantle. I removed all the dead blooms a week or so ago. I've left all the dead white Astilbe tops on, which is the line behind Lady's Mantle. I like the way the two of them go together here in my fourth bed. Going to bed number 3, my Alberta spruce are still trying to come back on the ends. Garlic chives are blooming beautifully, and the yellow honeybees are loving them. This tall boxwood in the middle I took from a container a few years ago and put it in the ground. It's happier in the ground. But if I ever have to move, I'm going to have to dig it out and put it back in a pot. Bed number 2 is next. Oh, by the way, I think all the rain of late June and July has obliterated my white iris rhizomes, which were there. And the Ruffled variety was here in the third bed with only a couple stalks remaining. The rhizomes turned to mush with all of that rain that we had in late June and July. The gardens have just been trying to recover from all that moisture of a month ago. These two potted boxwood and petunia seems to be doing well together. Lavender in the middle here. I've squared up this lemon balm on the end with all the round shapes. I thought I'd go with a cube here in the garden. Bed number 2. These 2 boxwood that were pulled off of somebody's curb last summer, they threw them out, are doing pretty well in their containers, coming back. Cucumbers has been about the only vegetable this summer that's been productive in the garden for me. Had about a half a dozen off of here. Green beans are trying to come back. They were devastated by the rabbits 2 months ago. They ate all the tops off and have really set them back. I haven't had any green beans this summer. Pretty disappointing. I've cut back the Egyptian onions to just a few sprigs. They'll come back. And to my bed number 1 with champagne colored roses, white spider Cleome, white Astilbe that I've cut down real short and tightened up around the pedestal for my harvest puto. Again, more Cleome, which I really like for their random fireworks explosion effect. They come up every year on their own, self-propagating, self-seeding. Despite all the moisture of late June and July, my roses have continued pretty steady and have been good. It's a beautiful, soft, kind of peachy beginning that then moves into a clearer white as the bloom goes on. Across the fence, the butterfly bush has really proliferated this summer with tons of monarch visitations. Like every evening they're here, along with viceroys, yellow swallowtail, things that are common here in the Detroit area, butterflies that are common here. Forget-me-nots, I'm not sure I should have ever planted those. They are like weeds, and now they're pushing to all extremities and across the bed garden. Datura Belle Blanche doing well as one long butternut squash at the back there. There are a few gourds growing, But I planted many squash seeds over here this summer, as well as morning glories for the fence, and none of them have really survived or taken. My morning glory frame here in the third week of August remains empty and bare. Strawberries are setting up for next year. They've come through the fence from my original planting on the other side into this side. All of these young plants, strawberries, getting ready for next year. Hostas have given a really good showing this year with a beautiful bloom. I don't know the name of the one that has the long purple stalk, but they are at the tail end. I've been deadheading them. And these are the few tops that remain. Again, more ladies' mantle and white geraniums, which have been kind of a go-to for me through the years. Keep them alive indoors through the winter. Again, I think I've mentioned it in the past. I've sort of been going for a white flower effect. So I've got white Alyssum, roses, Astilbe, Cleome, garlic chives in the back, petunias, all white, as well as the Datura Belle Blanche over there. Here's one of the exceptions, a beautiful carmine colored geranium that in the dark, in the evening, just glows against the dark background over here from my seat in the family room. Lady ferns really took a hit from all the moisture. I think it was moisture. Maybe I just let them get too dry. But I clipped back all the dead tops on them. Thanksgiving cactus seems to be doing well. We'll find out if it wants to bloom as we get closer to late November. A couple of little small brugmansia here in the pots. Growing on, no blooms on those this summer. More hosta. Another afflicted lady's mantle. That'll be back in the spring. But it's had a tough go. My bright blue hydrangea from a month ago has now turned to a kind of a mossy, bluey green, almost more green than blue. It's interesting, the blooms have been on there the whole time and they've just moved from a really true blue to this kind of washed out, grayed out blue, but still looks pretty good. I like them. My tall garden phlox does not like the overly wet summer. No blooms, lots of mildew. Inspired by a woman on YouTube, I've started a small group of topiaries with rosemary, junipers that I dig out of the cracks in the driveway, little cedar back in there, even a yew. These are just little plants that I find in the cracks in the driveway and I stick them in some dirt. A tray full of Datura Belle Blanches. If somebody would like a 4-pack, let me know. You can come get them. Get kind of late in the season to be planting them, but they've been lasting through the winters here in Detroit area. If they get a good start the first year and are heavily leaf mulched, they'll come back again on their own. Brought out my giant philodendron from the office where it usually remains, but it sure likes being outside in these tropical temperatures like we are here today. Gonna get up close to 90, I think. Well, that's about the size of things here on a Sunday, August 21st, in the garden on Bishop Street. Had a few blooms on my mature brugmansia, but I think I'd prefer to be in full sun. It sure dries out quick though. Years ago I'd get like a dozen blooms at once. Not so in this location. I think it needs a better spot. So that is the size of things here in the Whitstock garden for late August, the height of the summer bloom.